Hi, now you've been handed a duo ballot. Now, the duo is probably one of probably the most probably exciting and fun interp events there are because this one doesn't consist of one speaker. This has two speakers that are interacting with multiple pieces and each other, which could come from literature, from poetry, a play, a book, something with a common theme. Multiple genres are always allowed. The duel will begin with parts of literature before transitioning into an introduction where a concept or a theory may explain the significance of the piece before going back into their pieces. Each speaker may play multiple characters. The characters should not make eye contact with each other, but are encouraged to look at the audience when appropriate. Although duos should be memorized, each speaker will have their literature in a black binder, also known as the black book. There are no visual aids, and each piece is usually 8 to 10 minutes in length. So, as the beginning of any tournament round, you will conduct a roll call. Let's see, if all your speakers are here. If any of the duos are double entered, please allow them to go first so they can get to their other round as soon as possible. You will not give time signals, but you will record the time. So first, you will announce the duo. They will come to the front of the room. They will perform their piece. After the duo is finished, wait for applause, thank them, and take a moment to write any additional comments on your ballot. Then send them on their way. Then using the list, call the next duo, and so on until the last speakers have spoken. During each speech, you will listen and provide as much written feedback as you can on the ballot, but remember, you can always add a little bit more afterwards. After the last duo has spoken, wish them all luck and send them to their next round. So a typical duo will have typical teaser, which is a part of the literature. It will have the introduction, which will state the significance of why the piece is important, perhaps a theory or explanation of why it is significant, and of course they will mention the pieces and the authors behind the pieces. So when you're judging, what should you look for? Some of the things that you may look for, of course, were the authors and these pieces mentioned? Did the speakers explain the theme? Did the speakers explain the significance and the purpose of the pieces? Did you enjoy the pieces? Did they work well for you? Explain why or why they didn't. Were the pieces cut well if they were taken from multiple places? Were there good transitions and pops between the pieces? Were the main characters and all the characters distinctive? Could you tell the difference between the multiple characters? What stood out? Did the characters seem real? Could you relate to them? How was the switching between the characters? As far as was the reading seem natural? How was the intensity or the energy? And of course, because this is a duo, something different comes in. How did they work together? Did they work well? What could they do to improve? What stood out in your mind as being very significant? Did they keep their focus away from each other? Were their transitions from one speaker to another flawless? Of course, was the piece memorized? Were the pieces well rehearsed and polished? Was their vocal delivery, timing, pace? Well, were their gestures appropriate for the situation? Posture and movement? How was their energy? How was their pace? Did it vary? How were their page turns? Were they sharp, crisp, or were they sloppy? Did the black book look natural, as though it almost wasn't there? These are all some of the things that you can comment on, and you may think of a few on your own. And remember, give them as much constructive feedback as possible. They will greatly appreciate it. And nothing is worse than getting a ballot that says, great job in 5th place. So remember, give them as much constructive criticism. They will thank you. Their coach will thank you. And I'm sure you're in for a treat. Have fun with this. Thank you.